get this show on the road. Wherever you are, get in your car and come on down, enjoy a show. If it's your first time, well, jump on in. By the end of this drive, you'll be a Shavian. No, let's get this show on the road.
Hi, Kelly.
Hey, Spike.
How are you?
I'm pretty good. What are we talking about on today's show?
Well, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Jeeves and Wooster or P.G. Wodehouse before this season?
If I'm being honest, no. Like I had heard about P.G. Wodehouse. Just I think, his name is out there in the zeitgeist, but I don't really know that much about Jeeves and Wooster. How about you?
Well, I had seen episodes of the TV show with Stephen Fry and Hugh Laurie that was on PBS.
It was a TV show.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And they did a wonderful, filmed version of this duo of Jeeves and Wooster. But this was very much because the PBS network, which we got in Nova Scotia from the States, was often filled with a lot of British programming. And so I think for a lot of our older audiences, I do think that they will be very familiar with P.G. Wodehouse and the Jeeves and Wooster comedy and the duo and the books and the adventures that these two had gone on. But I think that it's an interesting thing because, like you say, it's in the zeitgeist, but I'm really thrilled that we can reconnect with it because it did feel a little bit like it might be fading. Yeah. And so it's exciting to be able to bring it back.
So what kind of a flavor would you say? Is it something like Fawlty Towers, that kind of thing?
A little bit, yes, absolutely. So it's definitely in the British comedy world.
Okay.
And it's all about this crazy romp. A lot of the interaction between upper classes and the staff that would work their households. So that relationship, which is always, who's really in charge
Yeah.
and making things happen and the roles that we play within society at this sort of time period. It's nice to kind of, again, dip your toe back into this very chaotic but lovely world. And I'm really thrilled by this production in particular as well, directed by our very own Brendan McMurtry Howlett, who was one of our intern directors here. So that's also very exciting to have the whole team on the stage. So nice full circle moment for Brendan.
So we will be talking with Damien Atkins and Jeff Irving, both of who are performing in it. But before we get to their chat, we're going to pull back the curtain a little bit. We're going to talk to Mary Margaret Murphy.
Who is that?
Well, she's the manager of membership services here at the Shaw. And you and I had been invited to do a little chat with membership. And
That's
just,
right.
Talk to them a little bit about how we make this podcast and what it is so that they can fill in all the lovely friends of the festival here. And while I was wrapping up talking with Mary, she said, hey, any chance that we could get membership on the podcast and tell everyone what membership it is and how great it is and what it actually means to be a friend of the Shaw? And so I'm like, yeah. That sounds great. So we coordinated a little bit, and now we have Mary here in an ongoing effort to try and introduce more of our audience to everyone who works here at the Shaw.
I think what I loved about speaking with Mary was just hearing her passion and her love for the people that she works with and the way that she can connect with our friends who are members of the Shaw Festival. It's a very personal thing for her, and I think that you really hear that in the way she talks about it.
All right, so let's hear what she had to say.
Hi, my name is Mary Margaret Murphy, and I am the manager of membership services. And I'm coming up to a 1-year anniversary.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I started a year ago here and love it. Like it has been, it's when you you find that dream job and you've been looking for that dream job for years and you find it and you go, oh, this is what it's like.
Wow.
Yeah. So love it here.
That's so exciting. And can you tell us what is your job? What does it entail?
Yeah. So I get a chance to manage a small team of people that are reaching out to our members who are signing members up, renewing members, or I should say friends. And I have opportunity to do post-show chats. So last year, yes, I got to after the matinee performance, I facilitated the post-show chats, which I love. It's so great because I love doing the research and figuring out a couple of questions just to get things going. And then, of course, some of the actors all of the actors have just been so gracious and kind. And our members, our friends, they come up with the best questions. And sometimes it's really hard to stop those questions because we know that the actors have to get to their next show, so I get to do that. From managing a small team, I'm up a lot of times an hour before the show to greet our friends that are coming through the doors, and then of course at intermission we're there to greet them again, where they get coffee, tea, and water.
Great. So what are the steps? How would I become a friend of the Shaw Festival? If I wanted to look at how do I find my way to that?
Absolutely. So I think one thing that's so important for our friends to understand is that ticket sales alone doesn't cover the cost of putting on these world-class performances that we do. So we do rely on our friends. And there's several levels when it comes to becoming a friend. One of the things that we make it easy. So there's recurring giving. So you can set it up and have it monthly come off your credit card. And right now we also have an anonymous donor who's matching new donations. So you can double your impact. And realistically, there's all sorts of levels when it comes to membership. Different levels get you, obviously different access to certain things. But bottom line is that it's, even $10 a month can go a long way.
And what are some of those benefits that do come with a membership at the Shaw Festival?
Oh, yeah. So post-show chats, as I was talking about, there are rehearsals, which is such a great way to actually see the work that goes in the process of what it takes to put on a show. Of course, at intermission, there is tea, coffee, and water at intermission, backstage tours. And I think the one that I've seen that most people, it really resonates with most of our friends, early ticket ordering. So in November, when we launch our 2027 shows for next year, in November, you get a chance to order the tickets that you want in advance of the general public. So that's a real...
You get to get those seats that you want.
Yes.
And you get to book that date. Oh, that's handy.
Yeah.
That's very good.
We get crazy busy in October when people realize, oh, wait a minute.
Right.
We can get advance ticket order. So yes.
Right.
Yeah.
That's very good.
Yeah.
And so is that just a matter of looking this up online, or do you call, or how do I find my way to actually signing up?
Absolutely. So our website, of course, www.shawfest.com. Certainly you can sign up through the website. You can call us, the membership team. It's 1-800-657-1106. The extension is 2556. Any one of my team is happy to sign you up. Obviously, we credit card. Some people, when they come to see a show, will drop off a check and become a member. So an hour before the show at the Festival Theatre, my team is upstairs at the membership desk. So if you wanted to join then, you can certainly join at the desk, or even at intermission when we are out at the members' terrace. You can come by and sign up there. We're happy to, meet with you and to give you all the details and take your information and get you signed up.
One of the things I was reflecting on with our members, and it's such there's a huge number of people who are members, but it still feels like such a family of support around the Shaw Festival. And I remember it was during COVID that one of the tasks we had in our roles, because everyone had been flipped onto these contracts as an engagement and community outreach specialist, is we each were given a list of members to call.
Right.
And every one of us took on a small list. And I remember having really profound and beautiful conversations, personal conversations with some of our members, just to, again, we're not calling to, solicit more money from you. We're just calling to check in and see how you're doing. And that here at the Shaw Festival, we really do believe in that human connection, and that theater really brings us together. And to be able to have those personal conversations, and that's what I think is so extraordinary about you and your team, is you personally will find people, you will seek out your members, you will have these conversations, get excited about the shows. And I'm just wondering, have you had a personal interaction with someone or one of our members, or a few of those interactions that were really special for you in this last year?
Oh, so one that comes to mind, and I'm going to try not to cry on this one because we had someone that donated, and we had called her to see if she wanted to put her money towards membership. Because a lot of times, through box office, when you're buying your tickets, you have the opportunity to actually donate a little bit more money. So other than buying your tickets, you can donate. And so I had called her, and we had this great conversation about membership. And she shared with me that for years, her and her brother always saw White Christmas. That was their thing. And she says, I'm coming to see White Christmas this year, and it's the first time I'm seeing it without my brother because he passed away.
Oh.
And I went, oh my goodness. So I did up a card for her, and and it was there. It was a seat note that she got, and I put a card in there and just said, I know this is the first time you seeing this show without your brother. Just want to know I'm thinking about you, and, enjoy the show. And I got this lovely email from her months later saying, I've shared that note with all my friends and all my family. They can't believe just how thoughtful we were, and so that really stuck out for me. But that's how we treat our friends. That's how we, this community of members that, we get to know them, and we, the stories, like my whole team, the stories that we hear, we've had people coming for 30 years, and now we're, they're so sad that, maybe they're not as mobile as they used to be and may not be able to get here, but they still want to support because they loved the Shaw Theatre.
And I think that's where we are, really being conscious of those things that we can provide our members with their Shaw Festival experiences if they are unable to come to us anymore, that we are still activating those initiatives to be able to come to them.
Yes.
And so there's so much of that outreach and engagement and community work that we're doing with our positive aging work.
Yes.
And we're doing, there's so many things that are in addition to it. Not just coming to see the play, but feeling like you're really part of a family and an experience.
Yes. It is amazing, all of those, like what we're doing. Like, it's so much more than just, the shows that we're putting on, like the world-class shows that we are putting on. There's so much more. And you're right, the positive aging. And I think for anyone, those programs are so needed.
I'm so glad you could join us today, Mary Margaret. This was awesome. Thank you for the insight and sharing with us your passion clearly on what you're able to provide in terms of that service to our membership. It's really exciting.
Well, thank you for the invitation. I was thrilled to be here and to talk everything membership. So thank you so much.
Ahoy! It's Neil Barclay with this week's trivia question. In addition to his Jeeves and Wooster stories, P.G. Wodehouse wrote the books for several Broadway musicals, including this shipboard classic that was recently presented at the Shaw. Make sure you stick around to hear the answer.
Today we're talking to Damien Atkins and Jeff Irving, and we will hear about their wild romp as Jeeves and Wooster in Perfect Nonsense. Damien is in his 8th season here at the Shaw Festival. You will also see him in Funny Girl. And previously for the Shaw, you will know him as the ever-adventurous Sherlock Holmes. He has starred as Sherlock in both The Mystery of the Human Heart, which he also wrote, and Sherlock Holmes and the Raven's Curse. And you would have also seen him on stages across Canada, such as the Stratford Festival, Crow's Theatre, Soulpepper. He is a prolific playwright as well. You will also see him playing Magnus in season 3 of The Vampire Lestat, which is the new Interview with a Vampire series.
So cool. And Jeff Irving has worked at many theaters across Canada, like MTC, Citadel, Buddies in Bad Times. This is his 16th season at the Shaw. You may have seen him last year in Anything Goes. He's played Peter in The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe and Prince Caspian, and as Christian in Kate Henning's adaptation of Cyrano de Bergerac. Let's hear what they have to say about Jeeves and Wooster in Perfect Nonsense.
Jeff Irving, welcome to the podcast. Where and why did you start in theater?
Well, as a senior member on this podcast, I would like to be the first to speak about where I grew up and what theater school I went to.
You went to theater school?
Well,
I'm just surprised to hear that.
it's called a school, but it was actually the back of a cereal box back when prizes were given out in the 90s, and it was legal to pull out diplomas from cereal boxes for theater schools.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember.
I went to a school called the Canadian College of Performing Arts, or CCPA, or as us that have graduated and made it out to the real world, we call it CC. We went to CC.
That's pretty.
It's in Victoria,
That's
BC. See,
Are you from Victoria, BC?
I am not from Victoria, BC. I'm from Regina, Saskatchewan. And I took any opportunity. Cue sad sound.
Best Italian food I ever had was in Regina.
Yeah, he keeps claiming that, but I've yet.
I want to stand up for Regina a bit.
Yeah, they got great pizza. I love their pizza. It's some of the best pizza I've ever had there.
Is it still there? The restaurant's still there?
Damien?
I don't know about mine. Yeah, I don't know.
The pizza's still there, and it's really good. Houston Pizza. Shout out Houston.
All right. Not Texas, but
Houston. I know.
Houston,
I don't know.
Regina.
Yeah, I don't know why it's called Houston Pizza. It's in Regina, and it's from Regina. Oh well. So I went to a theater school in Victoria, BC, called Canadian College of Performing Arts. I went there for 2 years, and then
But did you do anything in theater or anything before you left? Like, were you doing anything in Regina?
Yeah,
Why would you go?
Great question, Spike.
Thank you.
Why would I go? I was a theater nerd. I was a theater kid. I grew up obsessing over whatever thing really took my interest in. So I was actually I was going to be a clarinetist. I studied clarinet a lot, and I used to win money playing clarinet. And then, yeah,
That is so cool.
yeah, there's this band in Regina called the Lions Band, and I was first chair clarinet, and I would every year they'd have a competition between all the sectionals, and you'd have, you play your solo, and then I would win money off of it, like a couple $100 every year with my clarinet playing.
You're the coolest.
Do you still play?
I have it right beside me. I play it. Maybe it comes out every. I am not playing it on this podcast.
Will you
I see
play
your face,
clarinet?
Kelly.
I know that I said that I wasn't going to say anything, but Jeff, it's sitting right next to
It's
you.
right there.
Maybe at 11:45 in the morning. I need to warm up my clarinet feelings.
Jeff, will you play the clarinet at my memorial?
Yeah. Are you dying by 11:45?
Listen, I don't know.
I don't know either.
I just want to make a pre-contract.
Okay. Yes, I will. Definitely.
Think.
One
It's gonna be so
solitary, sad note. Probably like
No. Jeff, don't mess around.
I'm not.
I want you to play something nice.
It's going to be
that
like
people
a
will
drone
like.
sound, like, how bagpipes, but it's just going to be like one lower register D for Damien.
We'll discuss.
Okay.
But I have a verbal agreement.
Okay.
We heard it here on the podcast, and you will have many witnesses when this goes to air. So yes,
Don't
it
hold
will
me to
happen,
it.
though. Yep. And you know what? We're going
Shawniverse.
to also elongate our recording this morning. So I think 11:45 actually might tick over on the clock. So, I'm going to ask Damien now a bit about his origins. So, Jeff, you could just,
Oh, I'm not done
you
yet.
could just do a little. Oh, really? Okay.
Okay,
We're
stop.
not done yet.
Yeah, I'll be quick.
Okay, we're back to the clarinet.
So
We get back to the cash, which I don't know why you're still not doing.
I don't know either.
You could still be getting free money for playing. You could just do that. Anyway, from there, the clarinet, yes.
Okay, clarinet. Was obsessed with playing clarinet. Then I got out of playing clarinet because I hated marching. It was a marching band. Then I got into soccer, played soccer super hard. Then I got into acting and doing musical theater. And there was this small company in Regina at the time called Do It With Class. And I was a part of it. I got to be a part of it. We did West Side Story, Pippin, and City of Angels in the 3 years that I was a part of it. And a lot of great actors have come out of this program where it's all students from all over Regina audition to be a part of it. And then you get together, you take dance classes, take acting classes, singing classes, and then you put on a book musical at the end of the year. And that's where I really started galvanizing my want and need to be in theater and to perform and to be in front of people. And it was awesome. Tatiana Maslany, name drop. She was a part of that program. Who else? Kyle Galemba, Matt Alfano. Yeah, there's a lot of great folks. Zach Smedu, really great people.
Wow.
That's my origin. I'm going to get my clarinet ready.
Jeff, you played your clarinet and marched in Andrew Cleese, did you not?
I sure did. And it really,
There it is.
that was, that really brought it all back to the surface.
He loved when he got to play the clarinet, but he hated marching.
I liked the marching because it was indoors. It was the outside marching that I hated in parades because everybody else got to wear gloves, but clarinetists have to have the fingers cut off of them so that the air can go through all the holes. So we'd be marching in winter in Saskatchewan with our frozen instruments, and I don't deal well with cold. So there I am.
Wow. This is good. We're getting like fun facts. We're getting to know each other as we go down this path of our origins. Damien, it's your turn.
I am not a clarinetist, but I have played one on stage. So I know how to fake the clarinet somewhat convincingly.
Where and when did you get bit by this theater bug?
Well, I was born in Sydney, Australia, but we moved to Canada. Yeah, that's right. Cool. And we were living outside Edmonton, and my mom needed something for my sister and I to do when I was 5. And there was a theater camp starting. It was the first year of a little theater company that still exists today called the St. Albert Children's Theater, which it's a theater company of kids or like young people doing theater for adults. So we did some crazy stuff. Like we did, what did we do? My first show was The Hobbit when I was 5 and I couldn't read. So they had to tell me my lines. Is that normal? Should you be able to read at 5?
I mean, maybe not reading The Hobbit at 5.
Yeah.
Well, but
I can barely read
what about
now.
the script? Like, I wonder whether that's just become like family lore that I couldn't read, and so they had to tell me my lines. I just still remember one of my lines. Off to Lothlorien.
Huh.
I was an elf. But our second year, we did A Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court. Now, that's not the kind of show you would see at most companies that, you know what I mean? So it was great. By the time I had graduated from high school, I had done about 25 or 30 shows with them because we used to do them, like 4 a year. It was all year round. And then I started acting professionally when I was 12 and doing like...
What was that first gig? What was that first professional moment?
The first stage one was a production of March of the Falsettos, which is the second part of the Falsettos trilogy. And this was before Falsetto Land, which is part 3, had been written. And then we did March of the Falsettos, and then we did In Trousers, which is the first part, and March of the Falsettos in Rev. And then we were going to do a production of, this was at a theater company which still exists called Leave It to Jane Theater Company in Edmonton. It's a great company. We were going to do a production of She Loves Me, and then we ran out of money. But yeah, so I've been doing stuff. So I went to theater school at 16. I went to Grant MacEwan College, which is now MacEwan University, and I have a diploma in musical theater.
And when did you come to the Shaw?
Wait, is this my memorial? It's so inauspicious. Is that a D?
Yeah. Sorry, I thought it was the end. I'm so sorry to cut you off, Alexis.
No, I think it kind of, it was the end of my story. Is it the real end, though, of everything for me?
Oh, you looked a bit pallid.
That's funny, because I was just thinking how nice you looked, but anyway. Well, I hope I survived the day, Jeff. Otherwise, you're going to feel really bad.
Honestly, you're in the theater today, aren't you?
Yep.
Yes.
All day?
We have a show.
Just half the day.
Yeah.
You have a dress rehearsal today?
No.
No, we have a preview. We have a Funny Girl preview.
Funny Girl preview.
Funny Girl preview. Yes. I thought we were, because we're not talking about Funny Girl in this podcast.
Oh, right. Yes.
Even
Okay.
though you are both in it.
Because
we're
of
talking
rep.
about the other show that you're doing.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. But we're going to start, we're going to take a little step back because the next question is, how did you come to the Shaw? When was your first moment coming to the Shaw?
Bing.
You buzzed in quicker.
Here's the thing. I moved to Toronto because I wanted to work at the Shaw Festival. I came to Toronto in 1995 to do a production of Into the Woods at Canadian Stage, and I was I was 19, and some of the older cast members, they were telling me about the Shaw, and I'd heard of it from my mom and my aunt actually, who loved it, but I had never been to Niagara-on-the-Lake. So they brought me down on a Sunday because we had Sunday day off, and we saw the very first preview of The Petrified Forest, starring Tracy Firenze, directed by Neil Monroe, and I was so blown away by the whole thing, by the town, by the quality of the acting, the production, everything, that I was like, I gotta move to Toronto so I can work at the Shaw. So I moved to Toronto. I screwed up and missed the auditions the next year. I called and was like, I missed the auditions, what do I do? And I spoke to a really nice lady whose name was Janet Hanna, who became TC's executive assistant. And she was so sweet. She was like, why don't you just call me like once every 1 or 2 weeks and I'll let you know if new auditions pop up. And so I did. It was like a kind of an appointment every 1 or 2 weeks. We'd have a little chat. And then finally I called one day, like in January of 1997. And she was like, actually, we're having secret auditions. I was ready with my pieces, my things. And I went and auditioned. And then I came to the Shaw in 1997. And then I waited 20 years to be asked back.
I'm sure it wasn't for any particular reason.
Let's hope not, but it's just the truth.
And here you are, king of the Shaw.
What was the show? What did you do that season, your first season?
I was in The Chocolate Soldier, the operetta at the Royal George. We only did The Chocolate Soldier. We did 6 times a week for the entire season.
Wow.
Yeah, we did approximately 8,702 performances.
Wow. That's better than most Broadway runs.
Yeah, I know.
That's great. That's sort of multiple shows an hour, actually. That's really good. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were good.
It ran a half an hour.
Then after those 20 years, what was your first show back?
It was The Hound of the Baskervilles in 2018. Yeah.
That Sherlock Holmes saga, the return of Mr. Holmes. I know a lot of our listeners have absolutely adored you in that role and look forward to the installments as they have been returning. So it's very exciting.
I know, me too. I really love him.
Mm-hmm.
You're very good Sherlocking.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, Jeff Irving, when did you get to the Shaw?
Well, years ago, I was living in Vancouver. I was living in Vancouver. As in my origin stories, I came from Regina and then moved to Victoria. Then I ended up in Vancouver. I've never heard of the Shaw Festival before. I think maybe somebody came to our school and spoke about Shaw, but it passed through my head like the sieve that it is. So I was in Vancouver, and my agent at the time said, I have this audition for you for the Shaw Festival. I was like, okay. So I prepped a song and a monologue, and this was when they used to travel across Canada and audition in each city. And it was Jackie's first season. So she was going around, and it was just before Jackie's first season, the year before. And so she was getting all the people from across Canada back into Shaw. So I went in and auditioned, sang my song, did my monologue, had a chat with Jackie after, and she's like, "Do you have any questions?" I'm like, Not really. I don't know. Seems like you're really nice. And sounds like it's a nice place to work by what you've been telling me about it, because I had no idea what it was. And that was it. And then I got a call a couple weeks later asking if I would be an apprentice there. And I was like, "Oh, sure, I guess. I don't know. What's an apprentice?" And I went around and asked some people around Vancouver. I'm like, "I got this gig. I'm an apprentice at Shaw." And some people were like, "What? Holy crap. Oh, yeah, that's awesome." And then another guy was like, "I don't know. I wouldn't do it. It sounds like a lame job." I was like, "Okay. I'm not going to go with what you say. Everybody else is saying this is awesome." And so I got to Shaw in 2003, in March of 2003. And I was living up in the Circle, the first place I was living, in a house by myself at the time. And I didn't know anybody at Shaw. I didn't have a car. And for those who don't know Shaw that well, or Niagara-on-the-Lake that well, the Circle is pretty much the furthest point you could live from the Festival Theatre in town. I didn't have a bike. It was still really cold. And it took me 45 minutes to walk there. And there was no groceries. I had like 3 pieces of toilet paper on the toilet paper roll. Like, it was dire. And then Jerry Dworon took me around and took me grocery shopping, showed me the town. And then I made friends quite quickly. My first 2 shows were Happy End and Widowers' Houses. Yeah, and they were magical. And I remember in my first season, I was like, "Oh man, I want to work here again." And my friend Pete was like, "You just keep being you, buddy, and they might have you back." I was like, "Yeah."
And they did.
15 seasons worth.
Wow. So at what point, because for some of our dedicated listeners from season 1, they will have heard you mention and come on our podcast to chat about the cricket. How quickly were you pulled in to the cricket team upon your arrival?
The siren call got me right away. From the get-go, because I played soccer as a kid, I loved organized sports. I played all kinds of sports as a kid. And so the opportunity to learn a new sport, it got me right in, hanging out with a bunch of new folks that weren't necessarily in the shows that I was in. And I was hooked hard right away.
That's very exciting.
You're going to ask me about cricket, Alexis?
I am going to ask you about the cheering section and your supportive spiritual participation in the team.
What's interesting is that I come from an Australian family, which is a cricket family. We had the cricket rules posted on our basement wall. And I was a member of the cricket team in 1997, and we won. So I have more experience as a member of the winning team than as a cheerleader. I am a doer.
And will you be on the team this year, Damien?
No, I care too much about my physical body.
Fair. That is very fair.
I applaud the cricket players.
Yeah.
And I applaud the spirit. I do think it's a silly thing to be doing when we have shows. I have been explicit about this. I can't imagine why it's sanctioned. I will be derisive if somebody is out after the cricket match for some sort of injury.
Right. Okay. Note taken.
The biggest injury usually from the cricket match is people yelling too much. They don't have a voice. Their bodies
That's
are
an injury.
It is totally an injury. But they come back the next day like this.
And also significantly hungover from the after party.
Yeah, don't do that anymore.
That's never a good thing.
Yeah, it's not something I did either.
I learned.
Okay. So today, really, what we're here to talk about, and what I'd love to get into more detail, is this play and talking about P.G. Wodehouse, the author, and Jeeves and Wooster, and the play Perfect Nonsense. And one of the things that I'm intrigued about, because my nickname is Spike, for Spike Milligan, as we know, and there is definitely like an age demographic. There's like a solid line where people know who Spike Milligan was as a political satirist, as a cartoonist, as a prolific writer and comedian. And so when I think about P.G. Wodehouse, and when, you talk about someone like this prolific writer with all of these great stories, and the Jeeves and Wooster, even the television show, like, there's sort of a bit of a line. So for those listeners that might be joining us who may have no idea about PJ Wodehouse or the stories of Jeeves and Wooster, I'm just wondering if you could share us some insight on all of those things.
He's awesome. He's the best.
Wow. That's it, eh? So all that nice actor research you did, right?
Yeah, yes, tons of great actor research.
Why is a lot of blushing going on?
No,
I was just trying to set Jeff up for failure.
I know. And it's
or success. I don't know. Jeff is very well researched and very well prepared and read. You are. I'm not shading you.
Yes, I was not familiar with him before I started working on this piece. I'd heard of the show, Jeeves and Wooster, the TV show. And then I picked up the book. The source material for our play is The Code of the Woosters. And it is, I was reading it backstage while doing a show in Toronto. And a friend was like, "What are you laughing at?" I'm like, "This is the play that I'm doing, but it's the novel. It's so good." So if you haven't read any P.G. Wodehouse, please do. He's hilarious. And the dynamic that you've already maybe witnessed listening to this is that I put my foot in my mouth and Jeeves is the person who rescues. And so I'm playing Bertie Wooster, and my valet, Jeeves, is right there to save me. Right, Jeeves?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's how you like
yes,
it. When he has to imitate me. Yes,
I do.
He imitates various characters of mine, and he does it very well.
I don't know what you're talking about.
See, what the people don't know is that in this play, Jeeves plays multiple characters, as well as there's another valet, or he's actually a butler, right? Seppings is.
Yeah.
He plays multiple characters. So, and that's Travis Cito. I actually had never read any P.G. Wodehouse either, which I'm ashamed to admit, but I found, I think in the 70s, they did a compilation of all the short stories. And some of them had been a little bit sort of rewritten to make it into a novel. Anyways, so P.G. Wodehouse, who lived, I think, into the 70s and was still writing Jeeves and Wooster books into the 70s, had compiled all the stories kind of in their original form. So that's where I started and read. There's 35 stories in there. Like, it was similar to me in researching Sherlock Holmes. Also, Jeeves is a kind of literary cousin to Sherlock Holmes. He's the kind of mysterious genius who solves problems. He's not the protagonist, much like Sherlock isn't the protagonist in those stories. Watson is, and Bertie is there is one story, it's fascinating to read, that is written from Jeeves's perspective. So if you read the novels and you read the short stories that are all from Bertie's perspective, which is quite a hilarious and endearing perspective, then you get this one little glimpse into the interior of Jeeves, and it's fascinating. It's very pleasurable to read. But yeah, that's where I started. I mean, it was somewhat familiar to me because it is clearly influenced and referencing Sherlock Holmes, but funny.
What have you discovered doing this play and bringing these two kind of iconic characters, even though people may not be all that familiar with them, but they are this relationship? What have you discovered bringing it to the stage?
I hear it in the voices that are in my head. I hear it in I have some British friends. I hear their sense of humor. When I think of Monty Python, when I think of David Mitchell, when I think of all these British comedic icons, this kind of feels like it's their source material. And whether they read it and like were right away putting it off, but I think it was in the world, obviously in the British world, and that sense of humor has planted seeds in so many people. And so as I'm doing it, as I'm saying some of my lines that come from the book, it blooms from, oh, that's Python. Or if I'm in some sort of weird position physically, I'm like, oh, that's Rowan Atkinson doing Mr. Bean. Like, there's all these seeds that Wodehouse has put out, is what I've learned.
I think that's really, I've never heard you say that, and I think that's really astute. Like, that makes sense, because I feel like I can sense Emma Thompson, and like I feel like, oh, this is why English people are like this. Mm-hmm. in a really positive, delicious way. Like, it's so funny. It's so nicely sharp and funny. Even TC, like even Tim Carroll, I go, oh, I see. This is why you say things in such a dry way. You know, it's like, it's really attractive. I mean, the thing that I learned in kind of researching, which was gratifying, or it's not so much that I learned it, but it's where it sort of punctured me. And again, it is sort of analogous to my investigations into Sherlock, but that the stories work. And I think this play is a really, really good, as a really good mirroring of what is great about the stories, even though it's a totally different medium. The stories work because there's a lot of love in it. And you can kind of feel it. You feel it in the stories. And then you can feel it in the play, which is a beautiful aspect of the adaptation. And as I was looking through some of the research, because there is a lot of literary research about the books and I found a sort of list of things that Jeeves says about Bertie. And he says quite a few times that he doesn't think Bertie is very intelligent in a nice way, but that he keeps saying he's got a very good heart. And when you look at all the stories and you ask yourself, why would this brilliant man, why does he decide to take service with Bertie when it seems like he could have his pick of any house, but he decides this one because Bertie is such a good heart and because he loves Bertie. And I think in this play, it was really significant to me or helpful to me to think about the ways in which all the characters love Bertie.
Uh-huh.
To me, that's a good foundation for a play, is to find the deep stream of love in it. It's not expressed it's not an expressive love. But it's absolutely there, which I felt like I could feel it, but I was gratified to feel like I could name it in such a way that I could keep harvesting and manifesting it.
So one of the things that comes up often is how challenging comedy can be. That there's a lot more skill involved than you see. You know,
come on.
It's pretty,
I get my questions
easy.
all organized.
It's pretty
and,
easy.
You know,
Next question.
You just use a voice.
And yell.
You're not funny. So my curiosity is along the way, what have been maybe some of the challenges that you've encountered as you've been bringing this script to life, but things that may have kind of surprised you, or that they're with the difficulty that may be, because I think sometimes we think, oh, it's comedy. Oh, you just got to, like, it's you get up there, you kind of like waka waka and make people laugh. But there's a lot of skill that has to be taken into account. There's the things like timing, and there's things like intention and being really clear about those things. What are some of the challenges that you've encountered along the way?
I would say the main challenge is working with performers of, let's say, dubious temperament.
Could you clarify, please, Damien? Maybe just expand on that.
I think
The death knell rolls.
it clarifies itself. Working with actors of, let's say, melting skill. I don't know.
Wow. I just tried to be, get to the heart of it and get into some of the depth of our work,
I'll give you a serious answer. Comedy is a team effort. And so everybody has to know, and this is where I think some actors fall down, not actors in this show, I don't think, but that it's not just about where your jokes are and where your stuff is. It's about where the other guy's or the other lady, it's where everybody's jokes are, because it's so easy to screw over your fellow actor by stepping on their laugh, or by not setting them up properly, or by pulling attention when the focus has to be on them. Like, all theater is like this, but particularly in comedy, because it's so delicate, the first thing you have to do is realize that you are a member of a team and that you are not always the point.
Yeah. Thank God there's only 3 of us. Like, it's not a huge cast, so it's usually just two-hander scenes that we know that this person is the focus. We need to let that person bloom while the other one throws the attention. Like you're saying, it's the listening. I find the big challenges initially were to figure out when I'm the straight man and when I can be a little bit more loose with how Bertie's spine is, in terms of like, is there a goof that comes out? Whenever Jeeves is on stage, he's a bit looser, but whenever any other character is on, Bertie's basically the straight man, so everybody else can kind of bloom and shine. And so it's a back and forth, because then Jeeves comes on and I'm there, and then somebody else comes on and I have to be Jeeves-like in a way. It's a balance. It's a complete balancing act, and you have to have your ears, your real ears in the back of your, listening out of the back of your head and seeing all the aspects. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have to like keep your ego in check and realize that every laugh and every moment is collectively created, but can be individually destroyed, you know? But also, can I just mention this, because this will come up, like Jeff plays Wooster in the show and only plays Wooster, right? He's on stage for the whole time. He doesn't get to change characters and do all the sort of pyrotechnics, but it's infinitely harder to do what he's doing, because he's keeping the spine of the show together. He's the protagonist. And because of that exact thing that he's talking about, he's negotiating very fine, nuanced craft, which might not be as showy, you know, when somebody comes on wearing a lampshade, which I literally do, but that it's mature acting.
I was chatting about this yesterday with the director, Brendan McMurphy-Howlett, and I said, it's so hard because the devil is sitting on my shoulder being like, you could be funnier. You know, you could do a take, or you could wiggle your shoulder, or you could do a funny voice on this line. But it is keeping that in check, keeping my ego in check of being like, this doesn't need to be funny, because it's leading, again, as Damien was saying, it's leading to the collective funny. It's not my effort that's going to be funny. It's all of our efforts that's going to be funny.
Well, and I will say, I do have a similar challenge sometimes with Jeeves.
Sure.
Like, because he is so reserved, and there are I think sometimes temptations to let the audience see what you're thinking. And I think he should never do that, even though it would be so delicious to do a very dry take to the audience. He's not meant to be in more cahoots with the audience than he is with Wooster.
Right. And where are you at in the rehearsal process right now? Like, as we're recording this, you are heading into dress rehearsals. Is that right?
Very soon. We just had a quick change rehearsal for all of Damien's and Travis's multitudinous characters. Is that the right word?
Yes.
Yeah, excellent. A bit from our show. And so we spent 3 hours going through how to get on and off out of our characters and back into other characters. And then tomorrow we have a tech dress rehearsal. So it's like we have our tech, like our lighting, sound, and our costumes before we have a dress rehearsal that will bring an audience in to watch us. We've only had was our tech dress we had a couple days ago, and it was the first time we've had people in. And the first time we've run the show in 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we haven't had laughter in the hall for a long time, which is probably good. Which is probably good for building the story, to have the foundation of our story solid, so that when the laughter starts coming in, we can take that in and understand where we're building to, instead of laughter throughout the whole process. And then when an audience comes in and they don't laugh at the bit, you're like, well, that's what I built my whole show on.
Yes, I'm a nightmare though, because I always think, well, you're laughing at the wrong places.
Oh,
so you're actually judging the audience, Damien.
Maybe a little bit. I mean, I honestly think, look, I'll be really honest with you. I think, yes, it's a problem to judge the audience. But I do think it's more healthy to lean in that direction than to try to curry favor with the audience. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if I'm going to be in solidarity with somebody, I've got to be in solidarity with my castmates. And if something goes wrong, I'd rather blame the audience. I don't mean that in a mean way. You have to obviously, do your job. But also the audience is not always right, just like the customer is not always right.
Yes. Okay. I think that's good for our listeners who are coming down to see your show right now to prepare themselves for this. I think, when they sit there and the lights go down, they can really, question,
They're watching me.
their life choices.
Okay. All right. Now listen. I know you're teasing me. I'm really, this is like from being a child actor. I've had decades to think about this. I do believe very seriously in the contract with the audience. They've paid a lot of money. And so my job is to do my absolute best in that moment.
Of
but
course.
I think that's it. I
think
don't
that's
also
good.
have to love them or think that they're right.
Can you feel the love?
I know, I'll never get
right
hired
now?
again.
No, it's great. We love this honesty. Are you kidding? That's what this
Well,
podcast is about.
Not to be too super crazy in the weeds about this either, but if you go too far in the direction of letting the audience guide you, then you're also betraying the director's leadership. Because at a certain point, the director leaves, right? But the
Yes.
audience keeps coming.
Yeah.
And if you let them be the captains, then the ship starts to go off course that you set all together in the rehearsal room. So that I'm just really skeptical about that. I think you have to kind of hold to a different anchor.
And that's actually really important. Yeah, Jeff, go
Oh,
ahead.
no, I was just kind of musing back to the fact that we're not having laughs and that we're building this story as a story. So when our preconceived notion of where the comedy of the show goes or where a reaction is supposed to go doesn't go, we at least have that to glom onto and be like, no, we're still doing the right thing. We don't need to let whatever is happening externally affect us in so much. Like, I'm still affected by an audience. I have to stare. I look through into the peepers of all the audience members by the end of the show. And it is a harrowing thing to look down the eyes of somebody and then they look away while maybe they're shy or maybe they're itchy or maybe they're bored. I have to discover that in the moment. But yeah, they're going to do whatever they want to do. And I go free jazz. I'm like, yeah, let them do what they want to do.
And that's kind of the beauty. Again, we're so fortunate by having long runs and coming back into a show multiple times. What's that like for you with your past experiences of being in the season? How do you maintain some of that and not, again, going down of trying to look for those laughs or force those moments as the season goes on? Because again, we're here, it's, the end of April as we're recording this, but you'll be playing this well into September, right?
October 15th. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So even further. So what is that in the, how do you keep that? How do you keep that alive for yourself?
I think you have to build a structure that is not only sustainable, but is rich. And it goes back to a lot of the stuff that we've been saying, actually, like that you have to build a deep well. And for me, that means it can't just be about a series of what I think are funny jokes. It has to be, what is the gesture of this play? What do I think is the gesture of the play through the text that's been written? What is the gesture of the play also as the director interprets it and we sort of embody it? And then I feel like you can, if you feel like it's a valuable gesture, and with this play, it has something to do with pleasure. It has something to do with like giving an audience a break. That it's not cheap. It's actually really sweet. It's quite sweet and cute and full of love, but it's a break. Then you can hang on to that. That's something you can, if it's deep, you can tap into it months into the run, which is another reason why you should be tapping into that and not kind of superficial ego things that come from either they laughed or they didn't laugh. You know what I mean? Or this audience was good and that audience was less good. You have to be really wary of the ego, feeding the ego either for good or for ill, and tap into the deeper thing. I mean, I just think I feel this way in all of my work, whether it's a comedy or whatever. It's like, you got to care about something that's bigger than you. And A, that means you're not wasting your time. B, that means you're giving something to the audience that is valuable. But C, it will keep you on track when you're tired.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking about Damien's use of the gesture of the show, that it's a slow, because of the length of time we have, it's a slower bloom. We get to opening, but opening isn't like it's there. You see the flower, but the flower isn't in its grandest states until much later, because we still have so much layers, and we're afforded the time to create so much layers within our characters, within our connection with each other on stage, that I constantly say, I'll get that October 15th. I'll finally know my line October 17th. I always aim for the past the end of the show. Whereas when I was in, like when we do stock performances, like a short run, everything's a rush to get to that opening night and then maintain and maybe bring the lid off a little bit. But we, again, are afforded the opportunity to get to opening night, but just let that plant grow and grow and grow and grow and grow until it takes over the stage in our like very intricate detail. Yeah. And I didn't always think that way. And it's not really until I would say Androcles and the Lion, where TC came and shook things around. And as an actor in our rehearsals, I was like, oh, I have to think of a different way about this. And then as I realized I don't have to lock in and do the same thing all the time. As a young actor, I came in and being like, I have to do the same move every day, because they're depending that I'm going to say it the same way because I don't want to throw them off. And I have to stand the same way because if I don't, it'll throw them off. And now it's obviously we have to hit our light. Like if there's lights, we have to be in that light or whatever. If there's a sound cue, we have to hit that. But there is so much more mobility on stage than to just lock in. And it's really not until the last 10 years of my career that I've realized that I can just keep pushing out and finding new ways to take over the stage.
That's beautiful. Okay, last question. We are a destination theater for most people, so this is the reason for the podcast, and we've got some listeners right now who might be on the road to come and see you in this show. And what is something...
Be safe.
And hi.
Hi, but be safe.
Oh, we're so caring here at the shop.
Don't look at your phone.
No, this is playing through the car. So if they're coming to see this show and they've got their tickets and they get into the theater, is there something that might be a little Easter egg or a little something that like might be a favorite moment or, oh, this is a really good, or listen for? Is there something that is just a little insight that they could watch out for as they're watching the show that just gives them a little bit of the magic?
This is such a great question for this show, I think. Don't you think, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some.
I know, but it's so intricate. Like, it would be good. I wonder if it's fun to kind of figure out if they can figure out when we are speaking as one character but dressed as another or changing into another character backstage. Like it happens a lot, right? There's 70 quick changes in this play.
Are you kidding? 70?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And some of them happen in front of your eyes and some of them happen just a few feet past because it's very small backstage.
Yeah.
So there are times where Travis is doing a scene with himself off stage and changing at the same time.
Damien as well.
Right? I don't know if I do that particular thing. I don't know if I do.
Jeff is nodding as if he's insisting that you do, Damien. What does Jeff know that you don't know?
Well, I don't know because he's not back there. I can see that, you know what the sequence I'm talking about, where Travis is like doing both sides of a scene as he's changing from one character into another. Anyways, I do both sides of a scene on stage a couple of times. But I wonder, I don't know if this is a good one, but I wonder if the audience can figure out which famous English actors that I've drawn inspiration from for two of my characters.
Whoa.
Okay.
Oh, man.
That's a good one. That's a good one. And for our listeners, podcast@shawfest.com, you could possibly write in your answers.
Oh. Mm-hmm. $5
right.
off at the fudge shop if you win.
Well, we might actually have some magnets and mugs available for some
Magnets and mugs. Wait,
Can I write in?
like Jeeves
even know.
ones?
No, not Jeeves ones.
He's going to write it.
Our podcast. Damien. What about
Oh, sorry. Can I have a podcast magnet?
Yeah, we'll see.
Not after that, Damien.
Jeff Irving, any Easter eggs or any moments that you love that you're like, oh, just watch for that?
Damien, Travis, and I have a chat on our phone, and Travis sent us a picture of one of his costume pieces. It's a hat with a bird in it. And the costume people asked the name of the bird, and right away he said, Birdie Wooster. So you could see Birdie Wooster on stage.
All right. We're
That's all
looking
I
for
got.
Birdie
Oh
Wooster
my
on
God.
the stage.
I don't think I have anything else.
That's okay. That's great. Listen, we've got some good options here. And
I think you could see the show multiple times and ask yourself, how are they doing that?
That's awesome. The maths. Let's go. Well, this has been a fantastic conversation, both of you. Charming as ever. And thank you for my abdominal workout with the laughter today. I appreciate it. Just get that little workout in.
Well, thank you so much for having us on. It's really interesting, this camera microphone setup. James, could we get one of these?
Indeed, sir. I shall look into the possibilities of purchasing a suitable rig, I believe you would call it.
Oh, rigged. Love it. Give me the old R, please. Oh, that's my Easter egg.
That's a good one.
Figured it out.
Okay.
What? When Birdie has a habit of shrinking words, and I think I do it 3 times in the show. I might add more. What are the words that I've shrunk?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you both. Have a really great tech dress coming up and a great run with your show. And thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you kindly.
Thanks for having us. Lots of fun. You're both wonderful.
Indeed.
And now the answer to our trivia question. We asked which recent Shaw hit musical had a book co-written by P.G. Wodehouse. And the answer is Anything Goes.
Jeeves and Wooster in Perfect Nonsense is playing until October 11th. Tickets available at shawfest.com.
Thank you to Damien Atkins and Jeff Irving for joining us, and thank you, as always, for listening. If you have questions, thoughts, or just want to say hello, drop us a line at podcast@shawfest.com.
Let's Get This Shaw on the Road is hosted by Alexis Milligan and produced by me, Kelly Wong. Original music by Travis Cito. We're available wherever you get your podcasts. If you like what you hear, subscribe and leave a review.
Next week, we'll be joined by the creative team behind Wind and the Willows to hear about the magical world of animals who get up to some interesting mischief.
Let's get this Shaw on the road.